Fellow Toastmasters, the 100-year life. Can I have a quick show of hands of who finds that idea exciting, compelling, interesting? And who finds it slightly horrifying? I think, yeah, we're mainly quite positive about it, I think. But immediately we get positive about it, we bump into the idea, well, what kind of life? I don't just want to be old for much longer. Fortunately, scientists have been studying this as obviously our life expectancy has extended. And they have found that it is the healthy part of our adult life which is extending by far longer than the bit at the end. So, few. Few for the economy as well, because if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't be able to support ourselves. So if we're healthy for longer, we can support ourselves for longer right into our old age. That's fantastic, isn't it? That means that 100 years of life means 60 years of career, correct? That might sound the slightly horrifying part, but I'm here to argue that actually there are quite some advantages in the 60-year career that can really change the way that we experience our working life and actually allow us to bring life and work into balance much more than we currently have. The current career goes along a very fixed path, a very well-trodden path. In our late teens, early 20s, we emerge from education. We go slowly through our 20s in the more junior roles, but as we hit towards 30s, we ramp up a bit. And then it goes faster and faster, hopefully, through your 30s as you make the biggest career progressions into your 40s, and perhaps you hit your later 40s, it plateaus a bit. You might make one or two more great moves, hopefully, as you cruise nicely towards retirement on the best salary that you've managed to achieve so far, if it goes well. This model is a very well-worn groove and is based around the model of the single breadwinner household. But we actually haven't had that model as the norm for the last 50 years, or perhaps even more. Other careers, of which there are more and more, are still seen as a deviation from this. And consequently, career progression is much harder and work-life balance becomes almost impossible for some people. Consider the person who doesn't want a career, for example, or can't have one in this traditional way. Perhaps they're a skilled manual worker and they're very happy to stay that way and support other life choices. They quickly go out of step as they find that they're older compared to other people doing the same task and their opportunities reduce drastically. Consider those who have to or want to take career breaks. This is something that's becoming increasingly common for any number of reasons, but of course the classic one is still parenthood that happens in your 30s, just at the moment your career is supposed to be ramping up. Or those who make a wrong career choice, or for some other reason want to change their career a little bit later, and find then that they're entering junior roles at a much older age, and it's much more challenging. 60 years is a long time, time enough to take your career a little bit more slowly and start to really break down this age tracker, this standard pattern. In fact, we're actually going to have to if we're going to stay sane, to be honest. For example, what's the rush to start? If you can support yourself in some way, we start to see younger people pursuing a sport seriously, or going to work in an Indian cow sanctuary, or whatever it is they fancy doing, and starting a career a little bit later. That starts to stagger that age tracker right from the very start. And those that take those career breaks, there'll be more of them and more reasons for them. We'll need it to be able to sustain productivity for 60 years. Employers are already starting to see the benefit of it, and actually many employers are already encouraging it. In Starbucks it's called the coffee break, of course. So child rearing will become only one of many reasons why you might want to take a career break. And it will become less of a handicap, as that time in your career, when you really ramp up, doesn't necessarily become just your 30s anymore. It will help all of us to bring life and work back into a bit more balance when you realise that you can reach your full potential without sacrificing everything else along the way. Finally, on a very practical note, it actually won't be sustainable to continue raising your salary all the way until your end of your career, which could be in your 80s. Companies actually won't be able to afford it. But with so much longer to play with, once the kids leave home and the house is paid for, or whatever it is that's making you need your salary to go up and up, you can start to think about a second career. There isn't the same, and there won't be the same pressure to continue for your salary to go up, and it won't be such a matter of pride either as it becomes more normal. That means that you can use some of what you've built up to go into something perhaps a little less demanding, a little bit more work-life balance perhaps, a new direction. It will actually give older people a new outlook and a greater purpose in some cases than I think some people experience today as they get older. And it will also retain a lot of their experience and maturity in society for a great deal longer, which will benefit all of them. So in conclusion, really, the 100-year life brings many benefits, of course, many more than I've been able to name today. But in terms of your career and productivity, it will bring more flexibility. It will bring, by necessity, a more relaxed approach, a better balance to work and life. And also, hopefully, a better balance to the workforce. Take the gender pay gap, for example, that's so much in the news at the moment. I do believe that the cause of it, there are many causes, but one of the main ones is this well-worn groove of when you're supposed to progress your career in that 30s to 40s period. So it's really exciting to think that a longer career might actually bring equality at last. Thank you.